All right, now we're going to play the game of bingo, and we're going to use our knowledge of files to do so. So you probably know what bingo is, but if you don't, I'm going to give a quick description here. It is a popular game of chance where you're playing with a number of players. Each player is given a board, a 5x5 board of numbers. So you can see down here are 3 boards like this. And then once you have your board, numbers are drawn one at a time at random, and you start crossing out some numbers that are drawn. And if you happen to get 5 in a row, either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, you win. So it's just a complete game of chance. You just have to get numbers in a row, and once if your board has 5 in a row, either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, then you win the game. So this game is a little bit different than your traditional bingo, where you have like bingo. The numbers can be sort of anywhere. They can be any number. Usually in the real game of bingo, they're limited to like 1 to 15 for the first column, and then 16 to 30 in the second, and so forth. So here we're just having 5 columns, and the numbers can be anywhere. They're not restricted at all. The numbers range from 0 to 99 in this particular problem. All right, so just a little note here. This is actually a problem taken from the Advent of Code. This is a series of challenges created by Eric Wassel. And if you look over here, it's released right around Christmas time. And you can go to adventofcode.com. There's all these fun problems that you can do. So this is one of them from here. And if you really like them, then you can use Python to solve them. They're really cool, like programming challenges, and yeah, a lot of fun. This is why I picked this, actually, because it just happens to there's always a file that you have to open with those challenges. So it's good practice working with files and data in the files. So we're going to begin by reading in the random numbers found in bingo.txt. So if we go over here, all the data is stored in bingo.txt. You can see that the very first line has all of the numbers separated by commas. These are the numbers that will be drawn at random, and then the boards follow from there with a blank line separating them. All right, so let's go back to our notebook. This is just an image of what the file looks like. All right, so what I want to do now is just simply read in the numbers. That's all I want to do here. Read in this first line. So I know it spans across multiple lines on the screen, but is technically one line in a file. You can actually see the file number in Jupyter shows just 1 over here. This is the second line, which is a blank line, and then so forth. All right, so let's go ahead and read this. So we're going to say with open. I'm going to say bingo.txt as f, and we're just going to read in the very first line. So let me just say f.readline like this. I'm saying nums, and now let me look at nums. It is a string, and as you can see here, it's a string where the numbers are separated by commas. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to split. I'm going to use the split method. So I can do this outside of here just to show you what happens. So this is kind of how you can prototype a solution one step at a time. So it turns into a list of strings. The commas are no longer there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a list comprehension. So I'm going to say for val in num. So I'm just calling each one of these val. It's like a value. This will give me that same exact list. I didn't do anything to the value. So this is a list comprehension that does nothing. But what I really want to do is convert this to an integer, not a string. I want to make these integers. And so that's what does it. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to take this code. I'm going to put it in here. And I'm just going to reassign this to nums like this. Okay, so this opens up the file, and it just reads in that first line, right? That first line reads in all of these in, splits it by the comma, uses a list comprehension to convert each one of them to a number. And there we have the numbers for the bingo. So this is, we're basically just going to simulate the bingo, and we have to begin by getting all these random numbers and store them to a list. So that's our strategy. And then the next step we will be reading in the boards. But that's where we start. We write in the numbers, and then we're going to move on to reading the boards.